And dynamic track testing take 2. Yes, I just finished up recording this entire thing, and I realized that I had the wrong recording mode on. So here we are, we're redoing it. What we're doing today is we're going to do some isolated dynamic track testing to kind of see what actually, or how much it actually helps and how much it doesn't help, and kind of difference it makes driving. We're here driving the Skip Barber. I'm just going to keep the same setup for the Skip Barber. We have the default weather at Oran Park, the moto circuit, because we're going to the moto circuit later in the season for Skip Barber, so I figured I'd run that. And this Oran track is a terrific track for the Skip Barber. One, because it's kind of a shorter track, but it has a lot of different styles of corners, so I can really test out the entire part of the dynamic track system. So yes, so it's default weather. The only thing aside from default is I did a clear. The skies are clear, and this first session is going to be 10% rubber buildup on the track. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump into it and see how fast we can go. See what our best lap can be. Let's do it. Well, I don't think I'm going to get much better of a lap than this one. What was this? A 17.2. Okay, it's a 17.2 with default weather and 10% rubbered in. Okay, 17.2 with a 16.8 optimal. Okay, now let's try same weather, the default with the clear skies, but with 90% rubbered in. Let's see what we can do. Alright, so here we are with the 90% rubbered in, and you can already tell that the track is a lot darker. And you should be able to see some marbles here on the side. Like in the grass, you can see some marbles and stuff, but the track surface is relatively clear. So let's see how fast I can go with just the addition of 90% rubber. Alright, well, I don't think I'm going to be able to get much faster than that one. That was 16.8, okay? Wait. maybe I can. No, I'm already lost. Okay, so that was with default weather, clear skies, and 90% rubbered in. I ran a 16.8 with an optimal of 16.5. Okay, so I am a half a second faster with a full rubbered in track, and I'm still about half a second faster optimal as well. So for this track, about half a second. Now I want to keep it with 90% rubbered in, but instead of clear skies, I'm going to go to overcast. So there's no track temperature. The sun isn't heating up the rubber that's on the track. So let's jump into an overcast 90% server. Okay, so now you can see it's got a nice overcast to it and still 90% on the rubbered in. Let's see what kind of laps I can do. These are more or less a lot more optimal settings, I guess, so let's give it a go. Well, I don't think I'm going to get much faster than that one either. Like maybe a little bit, but that was a 14.9, and this time the only thing I changed was the overcast. It went from clear to overcast. So just with like the sun heating the track up alone was almost worth 2 seconds. How much? What was I at? I ran a 16.8, right? Yeah, it was almost 2 full seconds from having a clear and the sun heating up the rubber on the track to overcast where there's no sun. I gained 1.9 seconds on my overall lap, and it was a lot easier to drive, a lot more consistent, and I was less than a tenth off of my optimal, and I've only done maybe 5 laps here so far. So I could probably improve that a little bit more, but I think the big picture is already seen that just with the overcast alone, it's worth about 2 seconds on this track with this car, and having the same setup and everything else staying the same. Whereas from 10% to 90% rubbered in was only half a second. So this is actually something I'm really surprised about, but we know now. We know now. So there are my startling results from the isolated dynamic track testing. I haven't got sufficient enough time actually racing with dynamic tracks, so I didn't want to give my opinions on that too much just yet, but I do have a future video planned for that. I want to do a lot of oval and road racing with the dynamic tracks to kind of give you guys my opinion on that. But for now, let's just focus on the actual results of this test. It was about a half second here for just the rubber buildup alone, but it was 2.5 seconds from rubber buildup to from no rubber buildup to full rubber buildup, and the track temperature change. The track temperature change was at 105. The track temperature was 105 when it was clear and sunny, and the track was 83 when it was overcast. So there's definitely a big change in that, but but I wasn't expecting that much of a time improvement as well. In the real world, there's kind of like when you get to a track, there's definitely the rubber buildup throughout the day, especially for a big race weekend where you'll have, you know, karts running the entire day. But another thing that iRacing, I guess you can say, hasn't simulated yet is the removal of like dust and stuff. Usually we get to a track in the morning, or if you haven't ran in a while, the kind of track will be real dusty. And there's also getting rid of the dust and the tire buildup that really improves your lap times throughout the day in the real world scenario. But for iRacing, all they have now is the dynamic tracks, which is still pretty awesome. And it was only a half second throughout that from 10 to 90% gain of rubber in. I'm not sure how long that's going to take in the racing situations, but we'll hopefully we'll figure it out a little bit more when I get some more race testing in when we try and do that. Also, throughout the testing, I mostly noticed the grip improvements in the slower corners, and that's, if you think real quick, it's because you're gaining mechanical grip as opposed to aero grip on the track, and you feel a lot more of the mechanical grip in the slower corners. So you can possibly use that little tidbit of information when you're trying to do a setup for a car or something like that with the different track conditions that you might see throughout the week. So definitely cater more towards your aero or your grip depending on what kind of track or condition you may have. I didn't have to change my line at all during the different condition changes. The only thing that I consciously made a change for was I was able to brake a little bit deeper into the corners, opposed to like having the less grip situations. Like other than that, I was still, apexing at the same spot or taking a specific line through the S's or something. That was all generally the same. Anyway, guys, I hope this tidbit of information helps you out throughout the rest of this week and possibly this season. I'm going to be doing another isolated test, but for just the oval side alone. It's going to be kind of the same format, but if you have any ideas of how I can make a better test for you guys, please let me know in the comments below. I definitely think there's going to be a lot more condition changes, or as well as like speed and difference changes on the oval side of the dynamic tracks than there are the road. So it's going to be very interesting to try that out. Also, I'll be doing kind of a full analysis of the dynamic tracks after I get a lot of racing in, maybe like a week or two of full racing on the road and oval side with like short racing and oval racing and stuff like that. That way I can give you guys a good opinion and overview of iRacing's dynamic tracks, and hopefully give you guys some pointers on how you can use the dynamic tracks to become a better driver and help you get in front of some other opponents out there on track. But we'll see how that develops. Nevertheless, guys, thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you out at all, I'd love it if you help me out by subscribing. But nevertheless, I will see you in the next video, or possibly the stream tonight. Actually, side note, I did get some product keys for Absolute Drift. The guy, the developer, saw my video and sent me 3 Absolute Drift product keys. So if anybody wants that game, I'll probably be giving them out tonight in the stream. So definitely check that out. That should be pretty fun. But nevertheless, hope you guys watched it this long in the video, because that means you could possibly get some Absolute Drift in. But nevertheless, I've said that too many times already. Who cares? I'm doing this one again.